Good evening and welcome. My name is Sid Schneider. I'm the co-chair of Independent Jewish Voices, and I'm really delighted to see the turnout tonight. We initially could only nail down a hall for 70 from SFU. The pre-enrollments took that to the next level of 105, and then SFU contacted me and said they wanted to get in here because that 105 had been exceeded. And believe me, this was with a minimum of advertising. So I think that it's just tribute to the amount of interest that people have in the subject that we've gotten a turnout like this. Founded at a national gathering in Toronto in April 2008, IJV brings together Jews from across Canada from diverse backgrounds, occupations, and affiliations who share a commitment to social justice and universal human rights. We believe that the broad spectrum of opinion among the Jewish population of this country is not reflected by organizations which purport to represent the Jewish community as a whole. And just for instance, if you would like to come up and see this later, there are a couple of full-page color ads put in the National Post by B'nai B'rith, one of which was about ostensibly anti-Semitic attacks on students returning to university, and another was an Islamophobic ad drawing a parallel between the Mufti of Jerusalem and Adolf Hitler. And it's exactly to counter these kinds of arguments and influences and spectacles and to put forth a counter vision of society and organize for social justice that we came into existence. We believe that individuals and groups should feel free to express their views on any issue of public concern without incurring accusations of disloyalty or of being anti-Semitic. We are resolved to promote alternative perspectives, particularly in respect to the grave situation in the Middle East, which threatens the futures of both Israelis and Palestinians, as well as the stability of the whole region and the wider world. Independent Jewish Voices is guided by the following basis of unity. 1, human rights are universal and indivisible and should be upheld without exception. This is applicable in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories as it is elsewhere. 2, Palestinians and Israelis alike have the right to peaceful and secure lives. 3, peace and stability require the willingness of all parties to the conflict to comply with international law. 4, there is no justification for any form of racism, including anti-Semitism, anti-Arab racism, or Islamophobia in any circumstance. 5, the battle against anti-Semitism is vital and is undermined whenever opposition to Israeli government policy is automatically branded as anti-Semitic. We believe that these principles are contradicted when those who claim to speak on behalf of Jews in Canada and other countries consistently put support for the policies of an occupying power above the human rights of an occupied people. The Palestinian inhabitants of the West Bank and Gaza faced appalling living conditions with desperately little hope for the future. We declare our support for a negotiated peace between the Israeli and Palestinian people and oppose any attempt by the Israeli government to impose its own solutions on the Palestinians. Finally, we are determined to reclaim the tradition of Jewish support for universal freedoms, human rights, and social justice. The lessons we have learned from our own history compel us to speak out. We commit ourselves to make our views public on a continuing basis. Consistent with these founding principles, we participated in the United Nations Conference Against Racism in Geneva in April, the United Church 2009 National Conference in Kelowna last August, and we have made common cause with other groups and individuals to defend freedom of speech against efforts like the badly misnamed Canadian Parliamentary Coalition to Combat Anti-Semitism, or CPCCA. If you're not familiar with what the CPCCA is, Google it, CPCCA. In addition, we have mounted educational sessions and forums like the one we have here tonight, featuring the prominent Jewish theologian, Marc Ellis. Tonight's forum is co-sponsored by Canadian Friends of Sabeel, the Canada-Palestine Support Network, the SFU Institute for the Humanities Working Group on Citizenship and Religion, Jews for a Just Peace, and the Near East Cultural and Education Foundation. Now for tonight's speaker. Marc H. Ellis is a leading authority on contemporary Judaism and is widely recognized as one of the most influential Jewish thinkers of his generation. A university professor of American and Jewish Studies and the founding director of the Center for Jewish Studies at Baylor University, he is the author of 15 books and has written articles for the International Herald Tribune, Christian Century, and Haaretz. Ellis regularly provides commentary and analysis on National Public Radio in the States and the BBC, and has been inducted into the Martin Luther King Jr. Collegium of Scholars at Morehouse College. He lives in Waco, Texas. Professor Ellis has drawn the attention of some very well-known activists and commentators. Bishop Desmond Tutu has said that Marc Ellis shows the voice of prophecy has not been silenced in the Jewish community. Prominent Palestinian activist Professor Edward Said described Ellis as a man to be listened to with respect and admiration. Renowned political commentator Noam Chomsky calls Ellis a man of great courage, integrity, and insight. After Professor Ellis has spoken, we'll hear from a panel of respondents and then open the floor to questions from members of the audience. I ask you to join me in providing Professor Ellis a warm welcome to Vancouver.